Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am MK Jabintaj. Today in this video I am giving you the knowledge about the second module of the subject Database Management Systems for 5th SEM CSE CBCS VTU students. I am dedicating this video to all the students all over the world. Now let us see second module of the subject Database Management System. Relational model concepts. The relation model represents the database as a collection of relations. Informally, each relation resembles a table of values or to some extent a flat file of records. A relation is thought of as a table of values. Each row in the table represents a collection of related data values. A row represents a fact that typically corresponds to a real world entity or relationship. The table name and the column names are used to help to interpret the meaning of the values in each row. In the formal relational model terminology, a row, a tuple, a column, header, an attribute, and the table, a relation. The data type describing the types of values that can appear in each column is represented by a domain of possible values. Now let us see domains, attributes, tuples and relations. A domain D is a set of atomic values. By atomic means each value in the domain is indivisible. In formal relational model, a common method of specifying a domain is to specify a data type from which the data values forming the domain are drawn. Some examples of domains follows. USA phone number, string of digits of length 10, SSN string of digits of length 9, name string of characters beginning with an uppercase letter, GPA a real number between 0.0 to 4.0, sex a member of the set female or male, department code in member of the set, campus, math, English, physics, psychology, etc. A relation schema are denoted by R of a comma A2, A1 comma A2 comma up to AN is made up of a relation name R and a list of attributes A1, A2 up to AN. Attribute AI is the name of the role played by some domain D in the relation schema R. D is called the domain of AI and is denoted by domain of AI. Tuple. A tuple is a mapping from attributes to values drawn from the respective domains of those attributes. A tuple is intended to describe some entity or relationship between entities in the mini world. R is called the name of this relation. The degree or rarity of a relation is the number of attributes n of its relation schema. A relation of degrees 7 which stores information about university students would contain 7 attributes describing each student as follows: student of name, SSN, home number, address, office phone, age, GPA. Relational schema, a collection of relations, each one consistent with its specified relational schema. A relation or relation state R of the relation schema R of A1, A2, up to N, also denoted by R of A, R of R, small letter R of capital letter R is a set of n tuples. Small letter R is equal to T1, T2 up to Tm. Each n tuple is an ordered list of n values. T is equal to V1, V2 up to Vn. See the figure here, characteristics of relations. Ordering of tuples in a relation. A relation is defined as a set of tuples. Mathematically, elements of a set have no order among them. Hence, tuples in the relation do not have any particular order. Similarly, when tuples are represented on a storage device, they must be organized in some fashion, and it may be advantageous from a performance standpoint to organize them in a way that depends upon their content. Ordering of values within a tuple. The order of the attributes and their values is not that important as long as the correspondence between attributes and values is maintained, a tuple can be considered as a set of attribute value pairs where each pair gives the value of the mapping from a attribute ai to a value vi from DOM of ai. The ordering of the attributes is not important because the attribute's name appears with its value. Values and nulls in the tuple. Each value in a tuple is an atomic value, that is, it is not divisible into components. An important concept is null values, which are used to represent the values of attributes that may be unknown or may not apply to a tuple. Null values has several meanings, such as value unknown, value exists but is not available, or attribute does not apply to this tuple. Interpretation meaning of a relation. Each tuple in the relation can then be interpreted as a fact or a particular instance of the assertion. Each relation can be viewed as a predicate, and each tuple in that relation can be viewed as an assertion for which that predicate is satisfied, has values true for the combination of values in it. Example, there exists a student having name Benjamin Bayer, having SSN 305612435, having age 19, etc. Relational model notation. The following notations are used for presentation. The relation schema R of the degree n is denoted by R of A1, A2 up to An. The uppercase letters QRS denote relation names. The lowercase letters QRS denote relation states. The letter T, U, V denote tuples. In general, the name of the relation schema, such as student, also indicates the current set of the tuple in that relation, the current relation state, whereas student name SSN refers only to the relation schema. An attribute A can be qualified with the relation name R to which it belongs by using the dot notation RA. For example, student name or student age. This is because the same name may be used for two attributes in different relations. An n tuple T in a relation R of R is denoted by T is equal to V1, V2 up to Vn, where Vi is the value corresponding to the attribute A. The following notation refers to components values of tuples. Both T of ai and T dot ai and sometimes T of I refers to the value Vi in T for attribute ai. Both T of au, aw, up to az and T dot au, w, up to az, where AU, AW, AZ is a list of attributes from R refers to the subtuple of values from T corresponding to the attributes specified in the list. Now let us see relational model constants and relational database schemas. Relational model constants on database can generally be divided into the main categories: constants that are inherent in the data model known as inherent model based constants, or implicit constants, constants that can be directly expressed in the schema of the data model, typically by specifying them in the DDL, known as schema based constants, or explicit constants, constants that cannot be directly expressed in the schema of that model and hence must be expressed and enforced by the application programs, or in some other way known as application based or semantic constants, or business rules. The schema based constants include domain constants, key constant, constant and nulls, entity integrity constants, and referential integrity constants. First is domain constants. Domain constants specify that within each tuple the value of each attribute A must be an atomic value from the domain DOM A. The data types associated with domains typically include standard numeric data types for integers and real numbers, characters, booleans, fixed length strings, and variable length strings are also available, as are date, time, timestamp, and other special data types. Key constants and constants on null values. In the formal relational model, a relation is defined as a set of tuples. By definition, all elements of the set are distinct, hence all tuples in the relation must also be distinct. This means that no two tuples can have the same combination of values for all their attributes. Usually there are other subsets of attributes of a relation schema R with the property that no two tuple in any relation state R of R should have the same combination of values for these attributes. Suppose that we denote one such a subset of the attribute by Sk, then for any two distinct tuples T1 and T2 in a relation state R of R, we have the constant that T of Sk is not equal to T1 of Sk is not equal to T2 of Sk. A super key Sk specifies a uniqueness constant that no two distinct tuples in any state R of R can have the same value for Sk. A key K of a relation schema R is a super key of R with the additional property that removing any attribute A from K leaves a set of attributes K dash that is not a super key of R anymore. Hence, a key satisfies two properties. Two distinct tuples in any state of the relation cannot have identical values for all the attributes in the key. This uniqueness property also applies to a super key. It is a minimal super key, that is a super key from which we cannot remove any attributes and still have the uniqueness constant hold. This minimality property is required for a key but is optional for a super key. Relational database and relational database schema. A relational database is a collection of many relations. A relational database schema S is a set of relation schema S is equal to R1 to R2, R1 comma R2 comma up to Rm and a set of integrity constants IC. A relational database state DB of the S is a set of relation states DB R1 comma R2 up to Rm such that each Ri is a state of Ri and such that Ri relation states satisfy the integrity constants specified in IC. A relational database schema that we call company is equal to employee comma department locations comma projects comma works on comma dependent. Where we refer to the relational database, we implicitly include both its schema and its current state. A database state that does not obey all the integrity constants is called not valid, and a state that satisfies all the constants in the defined set of integrity constant IC is called valid state. Now let us see entity integrity, referential integrity and foreign keys. The entity integrity constant states that no primary key value can be null. This is because the primary key value is used to identify individual tuples in a relation. Key constants and entity integrity constants are specified on individual relations. If the referential integrity constant is specified between two relations and is used to maintain the consistency among tuples in the two relations. Informally, the referential integrity constant states that a tuple in one relation that refers to the another relation must refer to an existing tuple in that relation. For example, the attribute door number of employee gives the department number for which each employee works. Hence, its value is a value in every employee tuple must match the D number value of the sum tuple in the department relation. The conditions for a foreign key given below specify a referential integrity constants between the two relation schemas R1 and R2. A set of attributes Fk in a relation schema R1 is a foreign key of R1 that references relation R2 if it satisfies the following rules. First, the attributes in Fk have the same domain as the primary key attributes Pk of R2. The attributes Fk are said to be reference to the relation R. A value of Fk in a tuple T1 of the current state R1 of R1 either occurs as a value of Pk for some tuple T2 in the current state T2. R2 of R2 R is null. In the former case, we have T1 of Fk is equal to T2 of Pk and we say that the tuple T1 refers to the tuple T2. In this definition, R1 is called the referencing relation and R2 is the referenced relation. If these two conditions hold, a referential integrity constants from R1 to R2 is said to hold. In the employee relation, the attribute door number refers to the department for which an employee works. Hence, it is designated door number to be foreign key of employee referencing the department relation. This means that a value of a door number in any tuple T1 of the employee relation must match a value of constants the primary key of department. The D number attribute in some tuple T2 of the department relation or the value of door number can be null if the employee does not belong to a department or will be assigned to a department later. See the figure here. Other types of constants. The salary of an employee should not exceed the salary of the employee supervisor, and the maximum number of hours an employee can work on all projects per week is 56. Such constants can be specified and enforced within the application programs that update the database or by using a general purpose constant specification language, sometimes called a semantic integrity constant. See the figures here. Now let us see update operations, transactions and dealing with the constant violations. There are three basic operations that can change the states of relations in the database: insert, delete and update or modify. Insert is used to insert one or more new tuples in a relation. Delete is used to delete tuples. Update or modify is used to change the values of some attributes in existing tuples. The insert operation provides a list of attributes values for a new tuple T that is to be inserted into a relation R. Insert can violate any of the four types of constants. Domain constants can be violated if an attribute value is given that does not appear in the corresponding domain or is not of the appropriate data type. Key constants can be violated if a key value in the new tuple T already exists in another tuple in the relation R of R. Entity integrity can be violated if any part of the primary key of the new tuple T is null. Referential integrity can be violated if the value of any foreign key in T refers to a tuple that does not exist in the referenced relation. See the operations here. If an insertion violates one or more constants, the default operation is to reject the insertion. Another option is to attempt to correct the reason for rejecting the insertion, but this is typically not used for violations caused by insert. Rather, it is used more often in correcting violations for delete and update. The delete operation can violate only referential integrity. This occurs if the tuple being deleted is referenced by foreign keys from other tuples in the database. To specify deletion, a condition on the attributes of the relation selects the tuple or tuples to be deleted. See the operations here. Several operations are available if an deletion operation causes a violation. The first option, called restrict, is to reject the deletion. The second operation, called cascade, is to attempt to cascade the deletion by deleting tuples that reference the tuple that is being deleted. For example, in operation 2, the DBMS could automatically delete the offending tuples from works on with ESSN is equal to 99988 4 times 7. A third option, called set null or set default, is to modify the referencing attribute values that causes the violation. Each such value is either set to null or changed to reference another default valid tuple. The update or modify operation is used to change the values of one or more attributes in a tuple or tuples of some relation, or it is necessary to specify a condition on the attributes of the relation to select the tuple or the tuples to be modified. See the operations here. A transaction is a executing program that includes some database operations such as reading from the database or applying insertions, deletions or updates to the database. At the end of the transaction, it must leave the database in a valid or a consistent state that satisfy all the constraints specified on the database schema. A large number of commercial applications running against a relational database in online transaction processing systems are executing transactions at rates that reach several hundred per second. Now let us say relational algebra, unary and binary relational operations, select and project. The select operation. The select operation is used to choose a subset of the tuples from a relation that satisfies a selection condition. If it restricts the tuples in a relation to only those tuples that satisfy the condition, it can also be visualized as a horizontal partition of the relation into two sets of tuples. Those tuples that satisfy the condition and are selected, and those tuples that do not satisfy the condition are discarded. For example, to select the employee tuples whose department is 4 and those whose salary is greater than $30,000. See the figure here. In general, the select operation is denoted by, see the figure here, where the symbol sigma is used to denote the select operator, and the selection condition is a Boolean expression condition specified on the attributes of the relation R. The Boolean expression specified in E is made up of a number of class of the form attribute name, comparison of constant value, or attribute name, comparison of attribute name. Class can be connected by the standard Boolean operators and are and not to form a general selection condition. For example, to select the tuples of all employees who either work in department 4 and make over $25,000 per year, or work in department 5 and make over $30,000. See the figure here. The Boolean conditions and are and not have their normal interpretations as follows. Condition 1 and condition 2 is true if the both condition 1 and condition 2 are true, otherwise it is false. Condition 1 or condition 2 is true if either condition 1 or 2 or both are true, otherwise it is false. Not a condition is true if a condition is false, otherwise it is false. The select operator is unary, that is, it is applied to the single relation, hence selection or conditions cannot involve more than one tuple. The degree of the relation resulting from a select operation, its number of attributes is the same as the degree of R. The select operation is cumulative, that is, see the figure here. Now let us see the project operation. The project operation selects certain columns from the table and discards the other columns. The result of the project operation can be visualized as a vertical partition of the relation into two relations. One has the needed columns, attributes, and contains the result of the operation, and the other contains the discarded columns. For example, a list of each employee's first and last name and salary. We can use the project operation as follows. The general form of the project operation is as follows. See here, where PA is the symbol used to represent the project operation and is the desired sublist of the attributes from the attributes of relation R. The result of the project operation has only the attributes specified in the same order as they appear in the list, hence its degree is equal to the number of attributes in attribute list. The project operation removes any duplicate tuples, so the result of the project operation is a set of distinct tuples and hence a valid relation. This is known as duplicate elimination. Now let us say sequence of operations and the rename operation. The relations shown above depict operations. Results do not have any names. Either we can write the operation as a single relational algebra expression by nesting the operations, or we can apply one operation at a time and create intermediate result operations. In the latter case, we must give names to the relations that hold the intermediate results. For example, to retrieve the first name, last name, and salary of the employees, who work in the department number 5 apply a select and a project operation. See the figure here. Alternatively, we can explicitly show the sequence of operations giving a name of each intermediate relation and using the assignment operation denoted by left arrow as follows. It is sometimes simpler to break down a complex sequence of operations by specifying intermediate result relations than to write a single relational algebra expression. We can also use this technique to rename the attributes in the intermediate and result relations. Then rename the attributes in a relation, we simply list the new attributes names in parentheses as in the following example. The formal rename operation, which can rename either the relation name or the attribute names, are both as a unary operator. The general rename operation, when applied to a relation R of degree n, is denoted by any of the following three forms, where the symbol rho is used to denote the rename operator. S is the new relation name and b1, b2, b up to bn are the new attribute names. The first expression renames both the relation and its attributes. The second renames the relation only, and the third renames the attributes only. Relational algebra operations from set theory: the union, intersection and minus operations. Union. The result of this operation denoted by RS is a relation that includes all tuples that are either in R or in S or in both R and S. Duplicate tuples are eliminated. Intersection. The result of this operation denoted by R intersection S is a relation that includes all tuples that are in both R and S. Set difference R minus. The result of this operation denoted by R minus S is a relation that includes all tuples that are in R but not in S. These are binary operations, that is, each is applied to two sets of tuples. When these operations are adapted to relational database, the two relations on which any of these three operations are applied must have the same type of tuples. This condition has been called union compatibility or type compatibility. Two relations R and S are said to be union compatible or type compatible if they have the same degree n and if domain of AI is equal to domain of PI for 1 is lesser than or equal to I is lesser than or equal to n. This means that the two relations have the same number of attributes and each corresponding pair of the attributes has the same domain. For example, to retrieve the social security numbers of all the employees who either work in the department 5 or directly supervise an employee who works in the department 5. See the figure here. Both union and intersection are cumulative operations, that is, R union S is equal to S union R and R intersection S is equal to S intersection R. Both union and intersection can be treated as n-ary operations applicable to any number of relations because both are also associative operations, that is, see the figure here. The minus operation is not cumulative, that is, in general R minus S is not equal to S minus R. The intersection can be expressed in the terms of union and set difference as follows. See here. The Cartesian product or cross product operation. Cartesian product operation, also known as a cross product or cross join, which is denoted by X. This is also a binary set operation. Both the relation on which it is applied do not have to be union compatible. This set operation produces a new element by combining every member tuple from one relation set with every number tuple from the other relation set. In general, the result R of A1, A2 up to AN into BS of B1, B2 up to BM is a relation Q with the degree n plus m attributes Q Q of A1, A2 up to AN, B1, B2 up to BM is in that order. The resulting relation Q has one tuple for each combination of tuples, one from R and one from S. Hence, if R has m tuples and S has n tuples, then R into S will have M star n tuples. Example, suppose that we want to retrieve a list of names of each female employee's dependents. We can do this as follows. See here. Binary relational operations, join and division. The join operation denoted by is used to combine related tuples from two relations into single longer tuples. This operation is very important for any relational database with more than a single relation because it allows us to process relationships among relations. To illustrate join, suppose that we want to retrieve the name of the manager of each department as follows. The general form of the join operation onto relations are of A1, A2 up to AN and S of B1, B2 up to BM is as shown in the figure. The result of the join is a relation Q with n plus m attributes. In that order, Q has one tuple for each combination of tuples, one from R and one from S, whenever the combination satisfies the join condition. The main difference between Cartesian product and join are in join only combinations of tuples satisfying the join condition appears in the result, whereas in the Cartesian product all combinations of tuples are included in the result. The join condition is specified on attributes from the two relations R and S is evaluated for each combination of tuples. Each tuple combination for which the join condition evaluates to true is included in the resulting relation Q as a single combined tuple. See the figure here. Now let us see variations of join, the equi-join and natural join. The most common use of join involves join condition with equality comparisons only, such as join where the only comparison operator used is equal to is called an equi-join. Notice that in the result of equi-join we always have one or more pairs of the attributes that have identical values in every tuple. For example, the values of the attributes MGR, SSN and SSN are identical in every tuple of department MGR. The equi-join result because the equality join condition specified on these two attributes requires the values to be identical in every tuple in the result, because one of the each pair of the attributes with identical values in superflows. A new operation called natural join denoted by star was created to get rid of the second superfluous attribute in an equi-join condition. The standard definition of natural join requires that the two join attributes or each pair of the join attributes have the same name in both relations. If this is not the case, a renaming operation is applied first. Suppose we want to combine each project tuple with a department tuple that controls the project. In the following example, first we rename the dnumber attribute of department to dnum so that it has the same name as the dnum attribute in project, and then we apply natural join project department project star row of dname dnum mgr ssn mgr start date department. The same query can be done in two steps by creating a intermediate table department as follows. See here. The attributes dnum is called the join attribute for the natural join operation because it is the only attribute with the same name in both relations. In general, the join condition for natural join is constructed by equating each pair of join attributes that have the same name in two relations of combining these conditions with, and a single join operation is used to combine data from two relations so that related information can be presented in a single table. These operations are known as inner joins. The more general but non-standard definition for natural join is, see here. In this case, a list specifies a list of I attributes from R and list 2 specifies a list of attribute from S. The natural join or equijoin operation can also be specified among multiple tables leading to an n-way join. For example, consider the following three-way join. A complete set of relational algebra operations. It has been shown that the set of relational algebra operations is a complete set, that is, any of the other original relational algebra operations can be expressed as a sequence of operations from this set. For example, the intersection operation can be expressed by using union and minus as follows. Join operation can be specified as a Cartesian product followed by the select operation. See here below. A natural join can be specified as a Cartesian product preceded by rename and followed by select and project operations. The division operation. The division operation denoted by division is useful for a special kind of query that sometimes occurs in the database applications. Example is retrieve the names of employees who work on all the projects that John Smith works on. To express this query using the division operation, proceed as follows. First, retrieve the list of the project numbers that John Smith works on in the intermediate relation Smith P nums. See the below here. Next, create a relation that includes the tuple whenever the employee whose SSN is ESSN works on the project whose number is P num in the intermediate relation SSN P nums. Finally, apply the division operation to two relations which gives the desired employees social security numbers. In general, the division operation is applied to two relations R of Z divided by S of Z, where the attributes of R are a subset of the attributes of S, that is, see here. Let Y be the set of attributes of R that are not attributes of S. The division operation is defined for convenience for dealing with queries that involve universal qualification or the all condition. See the operations here. Notation for query trees describes how about the notation typically used in the relational system to represent queries internally. The notation is called a query tree, or sometimes it is known as a query evaluation tree or query execution tree. It includes the relational algebra operations being executed and is used as a possible data structure for the internal representation of the query in an RDBMS. The query tree is a tree data structure that corresponds to a relational algebra expression. It represents the input relations of the query as leaf nodes of the tree and represents the relational algebra operations as internal nodes. An execution of the query tree consists of executing an internal node operation whenever operands represented by its child nodes are available, and then replacing that internal node by the relation that results from executing the operation. The execution terminates when the root node is executed and produces the result relation for the query. See here below. Query tree for the above query. In this, the three leaf nodes P, D and E represents the three relation project, department and employee. See the figure here. In order to execute query, the node marked 1 in the figure must begin execution before node 2 because some resulting tuples of the operation 1 must be available before we can begin to execute operation 2. Similarly, node 2 must begin to execute and produce the results from the node 3 can start execution and so on. In general, a query tree gives a good visual representation and understanding of the query in terms of the relational operations it uses and is recommended as an additional means for expressing queries in relational algebra. Now let us see additional relational operations, aggregate, grouping, etc. Generalized projection. In generalized projection operation extends the projection operation by allowing functions of attributes to be included in the project list. The generalized form can be expressed as follows. See here. where f1, f2, fn are up to fn are functions over the attributes in relation R may involve arithmetic operations and constant values. This operation is helpful when developing reports where computed values have to be produced in the columns of a query result. See the example here. A report may be required to show, see here, aggregate functions and groupings. Mathematical aggregate functions on collections of values from the database. Examples of such functions include retrieving the average or total salary of all employees or the total number of employees tuples. Common functions applied to the collections of numeric values include sum, average, maximum and minimum. The count function is used for counting tuples or values. Aggregate function operand defined using the symbol see here to specify these types of requests as follows. See here, where grouping attribute is the list of attributes of relation specified in R, and function list is a list of function attribute pairs. In each such pair is one of the allowed functions such as sum, average, maximum, minimum, count, and is an attribute of the relation specified by R. The resulting relation has the grouping attributes plus one attribute for each element in the function list. For example, to retrieve each department number, the number of the employees in the department and their average salary, while renaming the resulting attributes as indicated below, we write, see here, if we do not want to rename the attributes, then the above query we can write it as follows. Note, if no grouping attributes are specified, the functions are applied to all the tuples in the relation, so the resulting relation has a single tuple only. Now let us see recursive closure operations. Recursive closure operation in relational algebra is applied to a recursive relationship between tuples of the same type, such as the relationship between an employee and a supervisor. This relationship is described by the foreign key super SSN of the employee relation, and it relates each employee tuple in the role of supervisee to another employee tuple in the role of supervisor. An example of the recursive operation is to retrieve all the supervisors of the employee at all levels, that is, all employee directly supervised by E, all employee E directly supervised by each employee, all employee directly supervised by each employee, and so on. For example, to specify the SSN of the employee directly supervised at level 1 by the employee whose name is James Borg, we can apply the following operation. See here, to retrieve all employees supervised by Borg at level 2, that is, all the employee supervised by some employee who is directly supervised by Borg, we can apply another join to the result of the first query as follows. To get both sets of employees supervised at level 1 and level 2 by James Borg, we can apply the union operation to the two results as follows. See the equation here. Outer join operation. For a natural join operation R star S, only tuples from R that have matching tuples in S advise and vice versa appears in the result. Hence, tuples without a matching or related tuple are eliminated from the join result. Tuples with null values in the join attributes are also eliminated. This type of join where tuples with no match are eliminated is known as an inner join. This amounts to the loss of information if the user wants the result of the join to include all the tuples in one or more of the component relations. A set of operations called outer joins were developed for the case where the user wants to keep all the tuples in R and all those in S and all those in both relations in the result of join, regardless of whether or not, they have matching tuples in the other relation. This satisfies the need of the queries in which tuples from two tables are to be combined by matching corresponding rows but without losing any tuples for lack of matching values. For example, suppose that we want a list of employees' names as well as the name of the departments they manage if they happen to manage a department. If they do not manage one, we can indicate it with a null value. We can apply an operation left over join denoted by see the symbol to retrieve the result as follows. See here, a similar operation right outer join denoted by this symbol keeps every tuple in the second or right relation S in the result of see here equation. The third operation, full outer join denoted by keeps all tuples in both the left and right relations when no matching tuple are found, filling them with null values as needed. The outer union operation. The outer union operation was developed to take union of tuples from two relations that have some common attributes but are not union type compatible. This operation will take the union of tuples in the two relations R of x, y and S of x, z that are partially compatible, meaning that only some of the attributes say x are union compatible. The attributes that are union compatible are represented only once in the result, and those attributes that are not union compatible from either relation are also kept in the result relation T of x, y, z. It is therefore the same as a full outer join on the common attributes. Two tuples T1 in R1 and T2 in S are T1 in R and T2 in S are said to be matching if T1 of x is equal to T2 of x. These will be combined unioned into a single tuple in T tuples in either relations that have no matching tuple in the other relations are padded with null values. For example, an outer union can be completed to two relations whose schemas are student name, SSN, department, advisor, and instructor name, SSN, department, rank. Tuples from the two relations are matched based on having the same combination of values of the shared attributes name, SSN, department. The resulting relation student or instructor will have the following attributes: student or instructor name, SSN, department, advisor, rank. All the tuples from both relations are included in the result, but tuples with the same name, SSN, department combination will appear only once in the result. Tuples appearing only in student will have a null for the rank attributes, whereas the tuples appearing only in the instructor will have null for the advisor attribute. A tuple that exists in both relations which represent a student who is also an instructor will have values for all its attributes. See the examples of queries in relational algebra here. See the queries here. Now let us say mapping conceptual design into a logical design, relational database design using ER2 relational mapping. Step 1, for each regular strong entity type E in the ER schema, create a relation R that includes all the simple attributes of E. See here figure. Step 2, for each weak entity type W in the ER schema with owner entity type E, create a relation R and include all simple attributes or simple components of composite attributes of W as attributes. In addition, include as a foreign key attributes of R the primary key attributes of the R relation S that corresponds to the owner entity type S. See the figure here. For each binary 1:1 relationship type R is the ER schema. Identify the relations S and T that corresponds to the entity types participating in R. Choose one of the relations, say S, and include the primary key of T as a foreign key in S. Include all the simple attributes of R as attributes of S. See the figure here. Now let us see step 4. For each regular binary 1:n relationship type R, identify the relation N is relation S. The primary key of the T as a foreign key of S. Simple attributes of R map to the attributes of S. See the figure here. Now let us see step 5. For each binary m:n relationship type R, create a relation S. Include the primary keys of the participant relations as a foreign keys in S. Their combinations will be the primary key for S. Simple attributes of R become attributes of S. See the figure here. Step 6. For each multi-valued attribute A, create a new relation R. This relation will include an attribute corresponding to A plus the primary key K of the parent relation entity type or relationship type as a foreign key in R. The primary key of R is a combination of A and K. See the figure here. Now let us see step 7. For each NRE relationship type R where n is greater than 2, create a new relation S to represent R. Include the primary keys of the relations participating in R as foreign keys in S. Simple attributes of R map to the attributes of S. The primary key of S is a combination of all the foreign keys that references the participants that have cardinality constant greater than 1. For a recursive relationship, we need a new relation. Now let us see SQL. SQL data definition and data types. SQL uses the terms table, row, and column for the formal relational model terms, relation, tuple, and attribute respectively. SQL command for data definition is the create statement which can be used to create schemas, tables, relations, types, domains, as well as other constructs such as weaves, assertions, and triggers. An SQL schema is identified by a schema name and it includes an authorization identifier to indicate the user or account who owns the schema as well as descriptors for each element in the schema. Schema elements include tables, types, constants, weaves, domains, and other constructs. A schema is created via the create schema statement which can include all the schema elements definitions. Example, create a schema company, authorization Smith. In SQL, catalog a named collection of schemas. The create table command in SQL. The create table command in SQL to specify a new relation by giving it a name and specifying its attributes and initial constants. The attributes are specified first and each attribute is given a name, a data type to specify its domain of values, and possibly attribute constants such as not null. The key entity integrity and referential integrity constants can be specified with the create table statements after the attributes are declared, or they can be added later using alter table command. See the example here. Attribute data types and domains in SQL. The basic data type available for attributes include numeric, character, string, bit, string, boolean, date, and time. Numeric data types integers, number of various size like integer or int or small int. Floating point real numbers of various precision like float or real and double precision. Formatted numbers using decimal I, j and des of I, j and numeric I, j where I is the precision is the total number of decimal digits and j the scale is the number of digits after the decimal point. Character string data types fixed length char of n or character of n where n is the number of characters. Varying length varchar n char varying of n or character varying of n, where n is the maximum number of characters. Bit string data types fixed length n bit of n, varying length bit varying of n, where n is the maximum number of bits. Another variable length bit string data type called binary large object or BLOB is also available to specify columns that have large binary values such as images. Boolean data types values of true or false in SQL because of the presence of null values. A three-valued logic is used, so the third possible value for a Boolean data type is unknown. Date data types. Date has 10 positions and its components are year, month and day in the form of 4 times y MMDD. The time data type has at least 8 positions with the components hour, minute and second in the form of HHMMSS. Timestamp data type includes the date and time fields plus a minimum of 6 positions for decimal fractions of seconds and an optional with time zone qualifier. Interval. Another data type related to date, time and timestamp is the interval data type. This specifies an interval, a relative value that can be used to increment or decrement an absolute value of a date, time or timestamp. Now let us see specifying constants in SQL. These include key and referential integrity constants, restrictions on attributes, attribute domains and nulls, and constants on individual tuples within a relation using the check class, specifying attribute constants and attribute defaults. Because SQL allows nulls as attribute values, a constant and not null may be specified. If null is not permitted for a particular attribute which are part of the primary key of each relation, it is also possible to define a default value of an attribute by appending the class default to an attribute definition. The default value is included in any new tuple if any explicit value is not provided for that attribute. Figure illustrates an example of specifying a default manager for a new department and a default department for a new employee. If no default class is specified, the default value is null for attributes that do not have the not null constants. Another type of constant can restrict attributes or domain values using the check class following an attribute or a domain definition. For example, suppose that department numbers are restricted to integer numbers between 1 to 20, then we can change the attribute declaration of the D number in the department table to the following. See here equation. See here example. Now let us see specifying key and referential integrity constants. The primary key class specifies one or more attributes that make up the primary key of the relation. If a primary key has a single attribute, the class can follow the attribute directly. Example, the primary key of department can be specified as follows: D number int primary key. The unique class specifies alternate unique keys, also known as candidate keys. The unique class can also be specified directly for a unique key if it is a single attribute, as in the following example: dname varchar of 15 unique. Referential integrity is specified by the foreign key class. Constants can be violated when tuples are inserted or deleted, or when the foreign key or primary key attribute value is updated. The default action that SQL takes for an integrity violation is to reject the update operation that will cause a violation, which is known as the restrict option. The schema designer can specify an alternative action to be taken by attaching a referential triggered action class to any foreign key constant. The options include set null, cascade and set default
An option must be qualified with either on delete or on update. In general, the action takes by the DBMS for set null and set default is the same for both on delete and on update. The value of the affected referencing attribute is changed to null for set null and to the specified default value of the key, and referential integrity constraints were not included in early versions of SQL. The action for cascade on delete is to delete all the referencing tuples, whereas the action for cascade on update is to change the values of the referencing foreign key attributes to the updated new primary key value for all the referencing tuples. Giving names to constants figure illustrates how a constant may be given a constant name following the keyword constant. The names of all constants within a particular schema must be unique. All constants name is used to identify a particular constant. In case of the constant must be dropped later and replaced with another constant. Specifying constants on the tuples using check. Other table constants can be specified through additional check class at the end of the create table statement. These can be called row based constants because they apply to each row individually and are checked whenever a row is inserted or modified. For example, suppose that the department table in the figure had an additional attribute department create table which stores the date when the department was created. In create table statement for the department table, to make sure that a manager's start date is later than the department's creation date, see here format. Now let us see basic retrieval queries in SQL. The basic form of the select statement, sometimes called a mapping or select from where block, is a form of the three class select, from and where, and has the following form. See here. Where attribute list is the list of attributes names whose values to be retrieved by the query. Table list is the list of relation names required to process the query. Condition is the conditional boolean expression that identifies the tuples to be retrieved by the query. The basic logical comparison operators are, see here, equals, lesser than or equal to, greater than or equal to, greater than and lesser than. See the queries 0 and 1 here. See the queries here. See the continuation of the queries here. See the continuation of the queries here. Now let us say insert, delete and update statements in SQL. Insert command. Insert is used to add a single tuple row to a relation table. Must specify the relation name and a list of values for the tuple. The values should be listed in the same order in which the corresponding attributes were specified in the create table command. Insert into employee values, see here. For example, to enter tuple for a new employee for whom we know only the F name, L name, door number and SSN attributes, like this follow we do. Now let us say the delete command. The delete command removes a tuple from a relation. It includes a where clause similar to that used in the SQL query to select the tuple to be deleted. Tuples are explicitly deleted from only one table at a time depending on the number of tuples selected by the condition in the where clause. 0, 1 or several tuples can be deleted by a single delete command. A missing where clause specifies that all the tuples in the relation are to be deleted. From delete from employee where SSN is equal to 1 to 9, 1 2 3 4 6 7 8 9. Delete from employee. Now let us see at the update command. The update command is used to modify attribute values of one or more selected tuples. As in the delete command, where a class is the update command selects the tuples to be modified from a single relation. Update project set p location is equal to, see here. Now let us see the additional features of SQL. Various techniques for specifying complex retrieval queries, including nested queries, aggregate functions, grouping, joined tables, outer joins, case statements, and recursive queries. SQL weaves triggers and assertions and commands for schema modifications. SQL has various techniques for writing programs in various programming languages that include SQL statement to access one or more databases. These include embedded SQL, SQLR, CLI and its predecessor ODBC, and SQLR PSM. Each commercial RDBMS will have this addition to the SQL commands, a set of commands for specifying physical database design parameters, file structures for relations, and access paths such as indexes. We called these commands a storage definition language. SQL has transaction control commands. These are used to specify units of database processing for concurrency control and recovery purposes. SQL has language constructs for specifying the granting and revoking of privileges to users. Privileges typically corresponds to the right to use certain SQL commands to access certain relations. Each relation is assigned an owner, and either the owner or the DBA staff can grant to selected users the privilege to use an SQL statement such as select, insert, delete, and update to access the relation. In addition, the DBA staff can grant the privileges to create schemas, tables, or views to certain users. These SQL commands are called grant and revoke. SQL has language constructs for creating triggers. These are generally referred to as active database techniques since they specify the actions that are automatically triggered by events such as database updates. SQL has incorporated many features from object-oriented models to have more powerful capabilities, leading to the enhanced relational systems known as object relational capabilities, such as creating complex structured attributes, specifying abstract data type called UDTs are user-defined types of attributes and tables, creating object identifiers for referencing tuples, and specifying operations on types. SQL and relational database can interact with new technologies such as XML and OLAP or data warehouses.